Hey guys, oh my god, we're here again. And this time we're about to do the rundown for our January read or my January read. And I'm so excited because January was so awesome because I feel like I had like a lot of good read. So I'm like excited to share that with you guys. Oh my god. So I'm not gonna waste time, I'm just gonna, go straight into it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I read 8 books January. Yeah. Actually, I read 8 books and I add one DNF. Add one DNF and yeah, but pretty much was really good. I can't even complain. You know, I cannot complain. So where do we start? Let's start with the first book I read for the month. I read a dark romance, and I got to say the year actually started rough. It actually started rough because I hated this first book, this dark romance, and it's none other than Little Stranger. Oh my god, I hated it so much, but I liked the narrator. You know that kind of feeling where you like the voice, but I hate the plot of this book. It's leaving, it's making me feel icky. I don't like it. I don't like any plot that has to do with brother, sister. I don't care if you're doing step brother, step sister. I don't care if you're doing we're adopted. We're actually not related by blood. I don't care. It just it leaves me feeling weird. I don't like it. Like, keep it away from me. I just don't like it. And I remember there's this show on Prime. What's the name? I think the one that just came out this year is Your Fault, and I think the first one was My Fault. I don't even know. But it's based on like brother, sister, step brother, step sister. And I remember I liked the first one, which is like weird for me because I never, like I said, I never like brother, sister. I don't really care what you want to play on it. But when there's chemistry, when there's chemistry, there's chemistry. I'm not gonna complain about if there's chemistry. I'm not gonna say there's no chemistry. But while I was watching it, I just wrote, I just imagined that there were no step brother and step sister, and I imagined that at the end of the first movie, their parents will separate. Like that's how I justified liking the first movie, and I watched the second movie, and the parents were still together, and I'm like, ugh, now I feel weird. Now I felt weird about the romance because like I said, I just don't like brother sister dynamic, right? And this Little Stranger was basically that. We have an adopted brother, right? Granted, the girl also was adopted by a parent, but they brought in the guy to they adopted him as well, and it was like he battles. I don't know if he was like a okay, I think I'm remembering it wrong. Oh my god, like that's how much I'm trying to like shut this book out of my head because I was like, no, 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 no. But the narrator was so good. The guy, especially, was so good. But the plot, absolutely not. Like, no, I don't know if I don't know if you can ever justify brother sister. I don't care if you're stepbrother. I don't care if you're adopted. You are now related. That's kind of weird. The world is big enough to find somebody else. But yeah, I rated it. I'm pretty sure I rated it one. Pretty sure. Like, there's no way I rated it more than one. And the only reason why I probably didn't give it a zero was because of I like the narrator. I feel like I'm gonna look for other books he has narrated. Guy, I don't know if you guys can tell that I'm actually tired. And I know it's like a what else is new? I'm always tired. I feel like honestly, recording content is just so tiring. I'm not even gonna lie. And which is weird because I be talking, normally, like give me a mic and like I will just start talking. Don't give me any topic and I'll just be talking. I'll find something. So it's just so weird that I am out here being tired to record content, but whatever. But yeah, that first book was like, I would recommend. But if you're into that, because the dark romance world, guys, is crazy. So if you're into that, why not give it a twirl? I guess. Who am I to judge? A second book I read, which I talked about in my previous um video, was da-da-da, Light Out. I loved Light Out. Light Out was so good. Like it was, I feel like it was a right balance compared to Little Stranger. It felt really well balanced. It reminded me of Butcher and the Bed. The Butcher and what? Blackbird? Is that it? I don't know. You guys, watch my previous video, please. Oh, oh my god, yes, I loved Light Out so much, and I feel like I already said everything I wanted to say in my previous video. I don't know what else to say about it, but I know it was really good. And the audio, oh, I would recommend listening to the audio rather than actually reading it, because the narrator also was so good. I don't know. I love a good narrator. It just makes the book, like, it makes you even like the book, even if the plot is like wonky. But a good narrator just really makes a book, right? Yeah. Moving on. So those were like two dark romance books I read, and after those ones, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like read an actual book, which is crazy because I'm not saying that dark romance is not a book, but you get my point. Hopefully, I'm saying that like the two I listened to them, so I was like, you know what? Let me just read this time. This time around, I read On Love, which I spoke about in my previous video as well. This book was phenomenal, and I know I was still reading before I was recording the previous video, but this time around I'm done, obviously. And it was so good. I would recommend over and over again. I gave it a 5 stars. I loved everything about it from the beginning to the end. I add pages upon pages, highlighted. I have things that I feel like I would keep saying to people, quoting, because it's just so good, and it makes you think about a lot of things, right? Especially when it comes to being uh when you start when you fall in love with someone, right? And the whole process of breaking up with someone, it just makes you start thinking, honestly, because it takes you through the process of a person, because he is telling the story of someone. I don't know if he's the one. I think he's the one, because he said they said the girl, so I'm hoping that he did not just form the story, but whatever, right? And you can see how from the start of the relationship, well, from the start of the relationship to the end of the relationship, you can see how the whole thing actually went about, and the thought process behind different things in the relationship and out of the relationship as well. I mean, there was a point that really resonated with me when they broke up, and he wanted to kill himself, and his justification for it was that he had told her that he can't live with her, almost like he needed to prove it to her that I told you I couldn't live without you. You see, I'm gonna kill myself. And that just that was really good. It was really, there were so many parts in that book that was just really good. I feel like it rings really true in today's dating world. And I feel like when I meet a new person or whatever, or my current friends, I would definitely recommend this book. And I feel like I would have to reread again, because I love rereading a lot of books that I like, because sometimes you just forget, or you didn't notice a certain part. So that's why I love rereading. Oh, come to think of it, I feel like I need to have a couple of books I also need to reread, but that's not why we're yeah. Oh my gosh, sorry. The next one is we have A Sea of Unspoken Things. Oh my god, this is by one of my favorite authors. And like I said in my previous video, because I know I highlighted a couple of her books in my previous video, but this is a new release. It came out this year, and I absolutely devoured this book. It was beautifully written. It was so it was so good. But then again, am I even surprised? This is my this is my favorite author we're talking about. She can do no wrong, and I would take no criticism about this author from any of you. Okay? Okay. So yeah, I loved every moment of this book. It from the beginning to the end. I feel like, granted, I don't think I liked it as much as our previous works. I don't think I did. I don't think I did, but I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 4 stars, if not five. I think 4 stars because I really enjoyed. I enjoy her writing. I enjoy her writing. I enjoy our characters. Our characters, the way she layers her characters. Oh, beautiful. The romance as well. She does romance in the way I absolutely love, where it's like it doesn't overshadow the book. It doesn't overshadow the plot. There is still a plot even outside of the romance. I feel like the book can still work without the romance, and I love that because it's not a cop out, you know. But yeah, next. Okay, so next we have Empire of Silence. Oh my god, this particular book, I've been seeing it everywhere, everywhere. And it was mostly recommended by people that liked some of the books I already liked. I was like, let me give it a 12, especially for the first one and it's a series. And most of the time, when they recommend the book, they are usually recommending, like, I think is that the second or the third book in the series. And so I already knew. I think someone already said that the first book was not like the greatest, but like when you keep going, it just gets better. And honestly, I have to say, I actually enjoyed the first book. Was it the best that I've ever, read? No. Did he blow my mind? No. But it was also really good. It makes me want to read the next book. I don't know when I'll read it. Probably maybe February or March, because I have a lot of books to read, and I'm very much a mood reader a lot of times. He has like a touch of Gladiator, and at that time, I just finally watched the original Gladiator movie. By the way, if you guys have not seen that movie, you should go watch it. It's so beautiful. Oh my god, I will watch after that because I wanted to watch the part two. Then I watched the part two. I was so disappointed. I'm like, ugh, take take this rubbish out of my space. It was so bad. I hated it. But the first one, the original, was beautiful. Oh my god, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, because I watched that and I read the synopsis of the first book, it had like a touch of Gladiator. I was like, oh, Celeste, I'm gonna read this now. And I wouldn't say the Gladiator part really was like a major part of the book. Mm, was it? It was okay. Like the part where it was, I feel like it was done well. Like it's not the center of the book. I don't think you should go into this book and feel like, oh, I'm about to get a gladiator book. Absolutely not. No, no, no. I think even when it ended, decide when he left the gladiator, whatever. I think that was about it. I don't know if in the next books we're going to into talk about the gladiator aspects, but right now in the first book it was like already done, right? So, but I would recommend. I think did I give it a 5 stars? 5 stars is crazy. I didn't give it a five, I probably give it a four, a strong four, because it was really good, and I feel like it really set the background, the floor for a massive sci-fi world, a massive world, and I cannot wait to dive into it. But other types of, especially sci-fi, not I want to say sci-fi and fantasy, they just require a lot of commitment. And right now I'm about to commit into the Wheel of Time, and that's like the old world that requires mad commitment as well. So that's like a little bit scary, but yeah, wish me luck. Wish me luck. So like I remember when I finished this, I decided to give Babel a chance. Guys, I'm sorry, but I had to DNF babe. I know there are some people watching this and you're like, oh, she must be so dumb. She didn't understand the book. And honestly, no argument here. I would not argue with you because that's probably true. I felt like um I was reading a research paper for a course I did not like. You know, as someone that has been or has worked as a research assistant, and studied a course that is so heavy on research, I know how much reading research papers that I do not care about, like how much it bores me. I don't care. So it felt like I was reading a research paper that I do not care about it. I don't care about the course. I don't care about what you're studying. So I just couldn't. I got into it. Let me not lie. I'm not gonna lie and say it was boring. It was not boring, right? I got into it, but then lost me. I got into it in the beginning because it was kind of feeling similar to um what's the name of this book? The Will of the Many. Yeah, it was kind of reading like that. But the way the Will of the Many found me, Babel lost me and did not, get me back. And I remember because I love spoilers. I don't mind looking at spoilers for my movies, for my books. It makes me, want to even read more. So I remember looking for spoilers for the book, trying to find out like had it ended if or by chance or whatever did it get better. And honestly, the supposed plot twist, I'm not gonna spoil anything, did not really energize me to, continue reading the research paper. So I was like, let's just admit that I'm not smart enough, and I'm not gonna argue with you. You win the intellectual war. Okay? Okay. Thank you. The next one I read was of Blood and Fire. This 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 was such a disappointing read. I'm not gonna lie. And it started out so good. Cause this particularly was what made me want to read the Wheel of Time, because it was kind of reading like it. Because I've watched Wheel of Time series and I kind of already started the book as from like one time because I have the paperback, but I stopped because the font was too tiny. Right. So I knew how it started, right, book wise. So this was kind of reading like it, but it didn't feel as like you had to commit too much because the pages were not as, they were not as alarming, right? But in the beginning it was so good. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. This is Wheel of Time basically. This is Wheel of Time with dragons. It was really good. I enjoyed it in the beginning. I was really getting into it. I love the characters. But then the writer lost me. I think, what mark should I say the writer lost me? I think as high as 70%, which is crazy because that's why I didn't even DNF him, because it was 70%. I'd already gotten to 70%, and there's no way I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to continue the series except I see somewhere and the person convinces me otherwise. But like the writer lost me and did not find me. Did not find me back, because I was just like, nah, this was disappointing. If it now felt like a lot was happening and also nothing at the same time. We spent so much time on journeys that I'm like, ugh, but nothing is up. I feel like I can just keep going on and complaining about this book, how this book did it wrong, and Wheel of Time was able to do it better. Even with how large Wheel of Time is, it was able to do it better justice. This did not do it for me. I'm not going to continue the series, and maybe it got better along the line, but honestly I don't care about any of the characters to continue. So all the best to you if you want to read it. Okay. Okay. The next one I read was based on my book club recommendation, the book for the month. They picked The Switch by Sandra Brown. And I've always been a fan of Sandra Brown. I have a couple of her books, and when you have like childhood memory with a particular author, it's just like Nora Roberts. You just want to give them a try, and you just have so much hope for them, or have so much like, oh my god, you're gonna have a good time at the very least. And so yeah, the Switch. This was I'm trying to say if this was the most disappointing read of the month, and I think it actually takes the cake. Yes, actually, does it? Does it? Oh, I think Little Stranger takes the cake, but this takes the second piece of cake because it was so disappointing. And for someone like Sandra Brown, I think I gave it a 2 stars. And the only reason why I gave it a 2 star, not a 1 star, was because I liked the author, and I just felt like, you know what, maybe this was like a bad day. I mean, if I like you and I've read a couple of your books that have been good, I will give you like benefit of the doubt. So I was just like, maybe it was just a bad day, so we'll give you 1 star for effort. One more star for effort. So I give you a 2 star, but this book pissed me off. It pissed me off to no end. I did not like a single character. And my book club during our meetup, they had like I was able to say my mind because I was like, no, 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 this book was horrendous. What even was it? Nah, it was the book was trying to be something that it wasn't. And for someone that has read a couple of our suspense romance, this was by far one of our weakest. It was ugh. Nah, I don't like it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If this is your favorite book, it doesn't say anything about you. Okay, okay. Maybe it just says about me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it didn't give. I don't want to be that person that says it didn't give. I don't want to be that Gen Z, but he just did not give. I'm sorry. Sue me. Okay. Oh, anyways, the final book for the month that really, brought the month to a beautiful close and just made me have so much hope for the future, made me feel like, oh, maybe writers are like, there are still good writers out there, said by someone that has not really finished writing any book in her life. But yeah, but this particular book gave me hope. And what is it? It's none other than Blood Over Bright Haven by my one of my favorite. Like, I've read only one of her books. I don't know if I can say she's one of my favorite authors, but she's becoming one of my favorite authors, M.L. Wang. And we all know a previous book that I read, The Sword of Kaigen. Obviously, this writer blows my mind. The way she tackles topics, the way she talks about topics in her book without not making it, she's not trying to put it in your face, but like the subtle way she talks about things in her book, it makes you think. There are certain places in this book that I highlighted that I know that are good conversation starters, like our conversations that if you're just like in the midst of your friends, you guys want something to talk about, you want to throw in a scenario like question, whatever, whatever. This book has things like that because it makes you question so many things, not just about other people but about yourself as well. What are the things that you've internalized because of certain values that you think you are. Oh my god, I feel like I'm just using different words. but the moment you read the book, you know what I'm talking about because it's just so brilliant. Unlike, I don't want to compare I don't want to compare authors, I really don't, but I'm going to. So unlike Babel that is giving like, I'm intellectual, this is what I am. I'm very, like, it makes you feel like, oh, I'm smart. This one is taking a more subtle approach, and it kind of gives me shows me like the difference between psychology and other courses. Because L Wang, for me, L Wang kind of writes books like from a psychological aspect, while the RF, is that her name? Anyways, the Bible author writes almost like those them those different courses basically, which is no fault. So it's basically like if you're more into a direct approach when it comes to intellectual, you're more, should I say, logical rather than you know trying to see things from different perspective. I would say try out Babel and our other books. But if you like, a subtle approach, you like, oh, why not turn the table upside down and see it from a different perspective, kind of thing. Definitely give ML Wong a try, because I feel like that is the book for you. That our books are for you basically. So yeah, we're done. I don't know what we I'm hoping that you see me next month as well. But I'm hoping that you see me even before the end of next month, before the end of February, I mean. Because I'm trying to like do more videos on like different things rather than only my month's wrap up. But it's just I always say that I don't know if I'm creative, and I'll be seeing other people, doing like creative shit. I'm like, oh my god, people are so creative, they're so smart. But like I'm like, uh, I don't know, I need to use my head, okay? Uh, Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like, don't forget to drop a comment, subscribe, share, because I gotta raise my views up. Okay, I think that's it. Bye.